How you doing? And thanks for getting the Barbecue Central show in podcast form. Some of you might have noticed last week that the show was released in 2 increments. I mean, never mind the fact that I've been having website issues, the likes that make me want to pull my hair out. But you might have noticed that Hour 1 was released in its normal frame on Wednesday. Hour 2 was released mostly in its frame on Thursday. 2 separate but complete hours. And I thought to myself, with some help from, I don't know if I should be naming them or not, but I've been getting help, some ideas, some things to trial here because, the goal is to increase the overall downloads for me and sponsors. However, I want to make the show as easily consumable to the podcast listener, which varies drastically in a lot of different ways than the live listener. The live listener will show up on a Tuesday night from 9 to 11, plug in, take in the show, and eject. They will mess around on the instant feedback and all that good stuff. But the podcast episode, which is you guys, are substantially bigger and substantially more connected than the live audience. And I have that from a statistical metric as well. So I see that it might be a little long in the tooth, and I know you've had 10 years to get used to it, right? But it might be a little long in the tooth to sit there and plow through 120 minutes of a show each Tuesday, or which in essence would be any time after I end the show on Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or however you do it. And I thought it might be better, with some help from some people giving me ideas to chew on and try out. Would it be, or would it have more value if I was able to take the 2-hour shows and lop them up into maybe one traditional hour and then piece out 2 or 3 separate segments during the course of the week? Or perhaps have the live show exist as a live show on Tuesday and then piece out the show during 4 days during the week. So Wednesday, you would get the first half hour. Thursday, you would get the second half hour. Friday, you get the best of show. Saturday, you get the second hour, the first part of the second hour. And Sunday, you get the second part of the second hour. Or perhaps in varying different ways. That will still be determined. But I figure at worst case scenario, you'll have a talk up like I'm doing now. And you won't get this extensive of a talk up unless there's something that I completely missed on the show during the week, during the live show that I wanted to interject. So that would be, I guess, bonus content for the podcast listener, and might encourage you to share it along and rate and review and all that good stuff. At worst, it would be a 25 to 30 minute commitment, something that is easily commutable on the way to work, or a bus ride, or a train ride, or mowing the lawn, or taking a walk, or whatever, versus the 2 hours. Maybe you only listen to an hour of it really, or an hour and 15 minutes of it really. So I'm not giving you the full value of what ends up being that 120-minute show. What if it was a better idea to make it more digestible over the course of the week in 30-minute segments? So that's what we're going to try out. So I'm calling on you to give me feedback. I want you to go hit me on the email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. And let me know over the next handful of weeks, because I'm going to give it a try. And if it comes to a conclusion that the majority think it's better to just let it rip in the 120-minute version as you've had over the last decade, then I'm certainly more than happy to revert back to that. If you find that it is easier to consume and that you're consuming more of the show over the course of a week because the segments are tighter from a time constraint standpoint, then I would like to continue to bring that value to you. And perhaps at the front end of all those segments, you get some new content like you're getting now, or some extra takes that I might not have gotten to during the course of the week. And we can build some value within the podcast itself, not necessarily making it its own show, but I mean, you never know what can happen down the line. Maybe this feed turns into a channel where you get the Barbecue Central Show live show on a Wednesday at a 2-hour clip, but then I produce other different kinds of shows all within the feed that may or may not be barbecue related. I have no idea. But those are some things that we're taking a look at. So over the next couple weeks, you will get the show pieced out over the next handful of days in more consumable time slots. And again, please give me your feedback and all that good stuff. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. So let me go ahead and introduce this run. This is the Embedded Correspondents segment. This is the first segment of the Embedded Correspondents portion from Tuesday night's show. That was March 27th, depending on when you were listening. This has turned into a two-segment portion of Embedded Correspondence. Initially, it was planned for the longer segment at the 10:14 slot of the show, but realized soon that 5 people were going to be way too much, and we needed to pare that down. So I took Doug, Steve, and David, varying levels of experience in the barbecue world and experience not only in competition but in business in general. On the docket in this portion, Doug Scheiding brings up his agenda, which is non-barbecue crushes. For instance, maybe you like Guy Fieri or maybe you like Bobby Flay. I'm a huge fan of Bobby Flay, as you'll hear here during the segment. But Doug brings up, who are your non-barbecue crushes? So I'd love to hear who your non-barbecue crushes are, for sure. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com or tweet at me at bbqcentralshow. Or tag me on your Instagram at bbqcentralshow. Let me know who your non-barbecue crush is. Of course, if you're a fan of my show, Ina Garten is my end-all, be-all crush for a number of different reasons that I may or may not get into during the actual segment that you listen to that took place on March 27th. And then we'll also talk about barbecue side dishes. What are your favorite barbecue side dishes? That was from Embedded Correspondent David Huff from Oklahoma. So without any further ado, I bring you the Embedded Correspondent segment, Portion 1. Enjoy. Longest running sponsor of the show. We always believe outdoor cooking should be easy. You believe it, I believe it, so does the Guru. And it can be easy, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. The Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control, greater freedom with automatic temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pitmaster. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill, and you can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. The coolest thing just came out from the Barbecue Guru, and I'm hoping to get my hands on one a little bit later in the week. Do you follow them on social media? The Rib Ring. It's got 3 different chambers. I think you can eventually put 3, it's either 5 or 6 semi-trimmed St. Louis-style spare ribs in this rack. It fits in a large ceramic cooker. I could probably buy 2 of those and put them right inside my legs. I could be cooking 10 racks of ribs in that thing. Easily double the capacity. The Barbecue Guru can be found at these particular haunts. bbqguru.com, not the bbqguru.com. Or you can call them, of course, at 800-282-GURU, 800-282-GURU Guru, or again, bbqguru.com. And they continue to be a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We are back with the Embedded Correspondent segment right after this. Stick around, be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, championship pitmasters are winning with Smithfield, and you can too. Commit to cooking with Smithfield this 2018 barbecue season, and you will receive smoke and swag just for participating. There's only a few requirements. You pay a small shipping fee of $25, and you have to be a member of one of the sport's major sanctioning bodies. Be sure to come back and track your first prize finishes in pork and ribs and win some of the great prizes through the Walking with Smithfield incentive program. Show the Smithfield love by hashtagging Show Us Your Smithfield on the Facebook and on the Instagrams. Limited to 500 people. I actually probably have to make sure that that program is still open. So, Emily, I will be contacting you directly. Yes, I will. Let me dump that real quick. All right, so this is the part of the month that everybody is really coming to love. It is the Embedded Correspondence segment. So without further ado, we welcome back Steve and Doug I believe I just saw David drop off the line. Did anybody have David on the line? David, are you there? No. Anybody get a message from David that he wasn't going to be on this evening by chance?
No, he was there and then disappeared.
Yeah, all right. Let me hang up with you guys. I'll try him right back and see if I can't reconnect. Just stand by. Well, he's not showing as available. Say that. All right, you guys are there, right?
We're here.
Here.
Yeah, all right. That's good. All right, so we're going to roll without him because that's what we do. That's too bad because he's got a pretty good take to go. So worst comes to worst, if he doesn't call back in, I'll... David, are you there? Looks like he's there, but... David, you there? No. Okay. Nevertheless, here's what we do. We go to a Tennessee correspondent. We'll go to a Texas correspondent. I'll be the guy from Oklahoma later. Is that good, Doug? Is that what Oklahomians sound like?
Yeah, you've got too many teeth, though.
Oh, look out, everybody.
Let's pile on.
Yeah, all right. So, Doug, let's go ahead and start with you and tell us your hot take for the Embedded Correspondent segment tonight.
Okay, my hot take is the non-barbecue chef crushes that you mentioned on the beginning of the hour. So I've got a few for a variety of different reasons. Probably my first one was Bobby Flay. I love sauces, just like the KFC, gravy. You can never have enough gravy. You can never have enough sauces. So I started doing some of his sauces from his cookbooks, and I loved his Throwdown show. I just loved him going into different places and, competing against people. Aaron McCargo, he was the winner of the season 4 of the Food Network Star. He actually is the one that got me started in cooking because the same weekend I put Coke on my battery acid and on my battery terminals to clean the terminals. I saw on TV, and Steve, you can relate to that, I'm sure.
No, I can't.
No, you can't. Okay, well, I did. But anyway, that same weekend, I saw him put Coke in his ribs, and I'm like, that's pretty interesting. If it'll clean up my battery terminals, it'll certainly tenderize some ribs. Another one is Alton Brown, and I have to confess that I used to think his show Good Eats was really corny.
Yeah.
Now I really like it, and I've got over 100 episodes TiVo'd. I think I'm into season 5 or 6 on this, and I can. And when I watch it, I'm kind of a nerd, and my engineer background. I have to take notes, so I take notes, and I can't do it and do other stuff at the same time. So I've got about 100 on that.
Aren't those dated, Doug?
They are dated. But cooking is cooking. Now, I do have to say that for all the stuff that Alton Brown knows, he doesn't know barbecue. I mean, he the last, I think, barbecue episode I saw out of a terracotta planter or something like that. He made a barbecue grill or something. Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right. But I like Justin Warner. He actually was one of the finalists in the Food Network Store's show as well. He is very creative, has no culinary background, and kind of an interesting, very similar to Alton Brown as well.
Doug,
I guess that's about it.
Hold on one second, David. Mute yourself.
David?
If you're going to come back on, mute yourself for crying out loud. There you go. Jeez.
Oh, there we go.
It's like we're dealing with rookies here tonight. Come on, Oklahoma.
Hey, we're getting back on the Skype train.
Here we go.
So no Ina Garden. I'm sorry, Greg, but and then from a female standpoint.
Now, hold on a second, Doug. Now, hold on a second. Like, why not?
Well,
I mean, don't tell me no, like to put it in my face and not give me a reason. I'm going to challenge you.
I've watched her show a few times.
Yes. You don't like the fact that she cooks with real butter? Do you not like the fact that she lives in the Hamptons? Do you not like the fact that she knows how to cook on a Weber kettle grill? Like, where is she striking out? You don't like the fact that her husband's name is Jeffrey and he has all these fancy friends that she likes to cook for? Like, what don't you like about her?
I don't like the nickname Barefoot Contessa.
You got to be kidding me. Jeez, you're pretty critical, I got to admit. So you're gonna go for Giada De Laurentiis, whose head is incredibly out of proportion for her body. That's who you're going to go with?
No, it's kind of like It's an ant. She's shaped like an ant. So
crazy.
No, she's annoying, and the tension that she has with Bobby Flay on the next Food Network star is a little annoying. So no, not a Giada fan. I do like I think her name is Alex. I'm going to butcher it. Garnicelli from Chopped.
Yeah.
The judge from Chopped.
Yeah.
She freaking cook. I think she's beaten Bobby Flay at least once or twice on his show, on his new show. So okay, all right, Steve, I could see you shaking your head.
Well, no, my wife was going to close the back door and make a lot of noise. That's why I was shaking my head. If we're talking about favorite Food Network people or TV cooking people,
just crushes.
Chef crushes. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit I have a Bobby Flay crush.
Me too. I do. I'm in love with Bobby Flay. He should be in the Barbecue Hall of Fame more than that dope should be.
I like to watch Gordon Ramsay. I like the way him smack talk down those people when they serve them on that
Hell's Kitchen.
No, the other one. What's the one where the people they whittle them down to one or two people?
Oh, Master Chef.
Yeah, Master Chef. I like the way he gets on them pretty good,
Yeah.
and that's entertainment, and that's all television cooking is entertainment. I'm an Ina Gardner fan.
It's Ina Garten for crying out loud.
Garten. Garten, right?
Yeah, Ina Garten. Yeah, don't get my ex-wife's name all confused here. My future ex-wife.
Yeah, I'm a Food Network fan. We watch. I like. And Greg, now don't have another head explosion.
All right.
But I'm a fan of Guy Fieri's grocery games. Not Triple D so much, but the Triple G, Guy's Grocery Games. I like it. Our buddy from Getting Basted was on the other couple weeks ago.
Brad
in the bacon.
Leinecker.
Yeah, and he won. And I thought that was great. I think that's kind of a creative little show.
I have to tell you, and I do want to make sure that we are 100% Waterford crystal clear on this. I like.
Andrew, you are not.
I like Guy Fieri. I love his personality. I like when he hosts TV shows. I would love to hang with him. When I drank, I would like to throw beers with him. All of that. He just should not be in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. I don't have a gripe against Guy being Guy. I have a problem with somebody putting that guy and that person into the Barbecue Hall of Fame. That's the only thing I have against it. I like him otherwise. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I am too. Hey, what about that guy from Cleveland, Michael? Michael
Simon.
Yeah, have you ever met him? Have you met him, Greg?
I have not.
Andrew, you are
he was
not.
from Cleveland.
Yeah, well, he's from Cleveland, all right, but he ain't too Cleveland to me, I guess.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anybody else?
I thought you maybe like Knights of Columbus buddies or something.
No, we go to the Spitz, but that's about it. No names, please. All right, David, who are your crushes? Your chef crushes?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Do you not have a camera?
I don't know what's going on. It's on. I can see you guys, so I have no idea.
Is the little camera icon hashed out on the bottom when you hover?
Let's try this.
Ah, there you go. Look at this guy. Thank God I'm here.
No kidding. Hey, it went better than the audio of the first day at the NBBQA, right?
Tap your microphone.
Yep. Actually, that mic won't work. I'm having to go on my iPad.
Got it. Okay, so. I got it.
Right.
That's just for show.
Right.
Now, hold on a second. Now, you just wait a goddamn minute. Did you just throw an NBBQA blast in my face? What are you talking about?
I would not. You're so worked up tonight. There is no way I would attack you like that, Greg. No way.
I mean, I'm not the guy talking into the microphone that doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Okay? Just want to make sure we point that out. You're talking into that thing like it's working. Meanwhile, I appreciate you selling it, but it ain't that. All right, go ahead with your chef crushes.
So I got to agree with Doug. I'm a big fan of Alton Brown.
Yeah.
If you can just get past all of the silly sketches and things that he does on the show, I learn the most from him. Mm-hmm. The science behind the food. I think you can put it to work on a lot of things you do, not just barbecue.
Would you?
So I really like Alton Brown.
Would you say he's kind of like the Meathead before Meathead, almost to a certain degree? The way he kind of breaks it down and puts science to it and all that stuff.
I would. I'd say the science with it. He really. I mean, again, bringing big foam cows to show how you cut a cow apart and taking the insides out is a little bit silly, but It works. So, and I also have several episodes of Good Eats on my DVR, and my wife wants to delete them all the time, but I don't let her do it. Obviously, her cultural opinions aside, I was a fan of Paula Deen, just from the Southern style cooking that she does. Yep. Banana pudding, collard greens, chicken fried everything.
Butter,
I grew
everything.
up on that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then this is kind of an obscure one, but there is a chef by the name of Francis Malmon. And if you watch The Chef's Table on Netflix, season 1, episode 3, this guy was an Argentinian chef. He worked at 3-star French Michelin restaurants, and he left it all to go to a private island in, I forget the name of it, Patagonia. And if you want to go there and have him cook you dinner, it's like a 2-hour boat ride, a 2-hour car ride, a hike up and over the mountains. And at his compound, he has no gas. He has no gas. He has no electricity. Everything he cooks for you is live fire cooking. And I saw on the episode he caught trout out of a lake. It was a lake trout. He dug clay out of the earth right there beside the lake, embedded the trout in the clay, started a bonfire, cooked the fish for people right there on the bonfire. And it was amazing. He cooks bread directly on the coals, caveman style. The skills that he has to be able to do that so rustic and still be a Michelin star chef, that's my kind of idol.
Okay, so here are my crushes. In the beginning, so kind of, my mom inspired me to be interested in food, per se, but I didn't really take an active role in cooking very much, but I love watching it on television. So The Frugal Gourmet is I think the very first guy that I used to watch on television. His real name is Jeff Smith, but everybody knew him as The Frugal Gourmet. Does that ring a bell with anybody, The Frugal Gourmet? Did anybody watch it? No? Doug, not you either?
Is that pre or post Julia Child?
Oh, that was after. I mean, this would have been, probably late 80s.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So then it was Justin Wilson, the Cajun guy, One to Miss and all that. You remember Justin Wilson? Anybody? No? Okay. And
Absolutely. The accent.
Yep. And then Martin Yan. Yan Canton Cook. Does anybody remember Martin Yan?
I don't know that one.
What the hell is with you guys? Jeez, Pete. Time for some new correspondents here. Big fans of cooking.
Martin Yan?
You didn't know anybody. You didn't know Martin Yan. You don't know Justin Wilson. You don't know Jeff Smith. Hello. And then, current day, again, I love Guy. I thought all of his cooking shows were really good. I'm 50-50 on Michael Simon. I don't care if he's a Cleveland guy or not. He seems to be okay, but it always seems like he's doing shows that people have already done once. Like that latest one with the barbecue thing.
Shows have been done.
Yeah, but I really love Bobby Flay. Like, that guy totally inspires me. I think he gets a hugely bad rap for everybody calling him a New York D-bag, and he's an a-hole. He's got a bad attitude. I think if you're not from New York, you don't realize that it's not an attitude. Like, that's just the way he is. He's a fairly confident guy. He knows what he's talking about. He's successful in many different venues. So I don't know where he's a bag, maybe because he's got a hot wife and he's very successful and people are jealous bastards, maybe. But also he does share a passion of horse racing, which I share too. By the way, from the same facility, his father used to take him to Saratoga Racetrack, which is where I grew up going to the racetrack too. So we have kind of a kindred spirit there. But when it comes to the ladies, I mean, I have a T-shirt that says "I heart Ina." So to me, that she is a full boat, knockdown, deadpan, 110% winner all day long for me for a variety of reasons, mostly because of her money and she can cook really good. So those are my chef crutches. All right, David, let's go to you next.
Sure. So everybody knows that barbecues, meat is usually the star of the barbecue. And what I want to talk about are the side dishes. Some of my favorite barbecue restaurants have excellent side dishes. And when they pay as much attention to what they're serving along with the barbecue, to me, that puts them a step above the rest. So I was just curious what you guys have seen, either you've made or eaten at a restaurant or somebody's made for you as far as side dishes. Some of mine, I was fortunate enough, my company that I work for is headquartered out of Wooddale. Illinois, which is where Sweet Baby Ray's has their restaurant. And they do a really good job with their side dishes. And they have a green chili mac and cheese that is phenomenal. And I actually try to mimic that with my catering. That's one of the side dishes that I've tried to. It's not quite there yet, but I'm doing my best impression. I know it's a big, large chain, but Jack Stack's has a cheesy corn bake that is absolutely phenomenal. Non-traditional sides. I've had savory bread pudding before that I really like to help, sop up some of the juice from the barbecue. There is a restaurant here in Tulsa. It's probably the most famous. Well, I won't say the most famous, but it's definitely the busiest. And their gig is they cook everything on hasty bakes inside their restaurant underneath the biggest vent hood that you can imagine. And if they don't cook it under it or on a hasty bake, they don't serve it. So everything they make, from smoked mac and cheese to baked beans to my favorite, which is a hot potato salad, which is a little different. It's not quite German style, but it's got a little sweet and sour, and it's got some peppers and onions, and it's just more interesting.
Andrew, you are not.
Sorry, that was my fault.
No problem. A couple final things. Anywhere that serves collard greens, I'm a big fan of greens from the South. And then there's a little restaurant in North Tulsa that the sweetest lady called Al Mead runs it. And every time you order barbecue, it comes with a side of her sweet buttermilk pie. And I just think that's fantastic to finish off the barbecue meal. So that's some of the ones that came to my mind.
All right, Steve, favorite barbecue sides?
Mustard style potato salad. I love it. I'll eat it before I eat the barbecue.
Really?
Yeah, love it.
Do you make one yourself?
So what?
You make one yourself?
No, I can't make potato salad. Right. But I love to eat it. I eat all kinds. I like German potato salad, anything with potatoes in it. I love it.
What else?
Potato salad. Of course, French fries.
Wow,
that's not on my keto diet.
You're a starchy guy, right?
The Little Debbie is very much.
All right, hold on a second. Let's go back to that. What's going on with keto, David?
I am down almost 30 pounds in 2 months.
Look at you.
Yeah.
It works.
It's going really well.
Steve, if you could just keep up with the rules, I think you'd be all right.
I'm a keto failure. I live in Ooltewah, which is right next to Collegedale, where Little Debbie's factory is. You try living here.
No.
And staying on the keto
I hear you.
diet.
Yeah, you're
the truck comes by and they throw out the cases to everybody.
Yeah, I love around here. I love what's hanging over your I love what's hanging over your right shoulder there, by the way. Much appreciated. What do you mean? What is? There's Butcher barbecue products all over the place there on the back.
Oh yeah, Dave stuff. Yeah, I try to keep it.
I can see that. Doug, we got about 50 seconds before we go. Well, you just go ahead and tell. I'll float out here a little bit.
Okay, I'll disagree on the potato salad, although I will tolerate a hot German potato salad and no coleslaw. So those were not on my list.
You will not eat any potato salad? Like he said, mustard potato salad.
No. I just seen nothing. Yeah. No. Q39, their white bean cassoulet. It's kind of like a white bean soup. It's fantastic. The pinto beans at Cooper's, it's going to be primarily Texas list other than the Q39. Pinto beans at Cooper's, which oddly enough is the only free thing there. Otherwise, take your black Amex. It's fairly expensive. I'm a sucker for smoked mac and cheese, so that green chili mac and cheese sounds great. I actually do make a very good one. I also like the one from Truth Barbecue, the number 5 on the Texas Monthly list. Yep. They put a little crispy bacon on top of their mac and cheese. Cream corn from Killen's Barbecue in Houston, Texas. I'll give a reserve grand champion to Rudy's Barbecue, which is a chain down here in Texas. I like their cream corn as well. That's probably not on the keto diet, but butter green beans with bacon from Don's Barbecue in Austin. And it's very simple. It's just a lot of butter. It's like green beans out of a can, the little short one, and a little bit of bacon. So love that. Dessert at Killen's is fantastic. All of their desserts are fantastic. Their pecan pie, bread pudding, carrot cake, banana pudding. I've had them all. They're great. And I don't know, Greg, if you had the collard greens from the NBBQA, and those were from Pecan Lodge.
Yeah, they were great.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably some of the best collard greens I'd ever had. So that's just a list I came up with.
Yeah, I agree, Doug. I was going to mention that the collard greens there were absolutely spectacular. I've just literally in the last 3 months decided to get in or try collard greens. And I tried it up here where I have the number 1 ranked Cleveland barbecue restaurant called Barbecue Smokehouse over in Parma. Now, look, from a very holistic sense here, I could give a rat's ass about how good the sides are at any barbecue joint. If the sides are stealing the show, you own a shitty barbecue joint, number 1. Now, if they are good, okay, I mean, that's great. But I'm going to eat the meat, the barbecue. That's really what I am there to evaluate and take in. That being said, Barbecue Smokehouse, the guys there, well, now it's just Danny. John had left with his wife and went to Oregon, but they have like a fine dining background, so their mac and cheese isn't just like some run-of-the-mill mac and cheese. It's like in a bechamel sauce. There's some back-end heat to it. It's very rich, very grown-up mac and cheese. Like, kids probably wouldn't dig it, but if you have a bit of a broad palate and you like some refined flavors, then that is going to be absolutely incredible. They put a little pulled pork on it sometimes if you ask them to. Their collard greens are absolutely spectacular, Doug. I think that the next time you get up to Cleveland, we have to go there for a collard green review. And then they also make a really good brisket chili, but that's not every day because most of the time they sell out of the brisket, so there's no reason to make brisket chili if you're out of the brisket. So those are some of my favorite sides. I make a pretty good mac and cheese at home, which, by the way, happens to be some type of a variation off of the Mac Daddy mac and cheese made famous by who? Guy Fieri. Now, he calls for 6 strips of bacon. I use 2 pounds of bacon in that recipe, which is probably why, like, the next day it's all greasy and stuff at the bottom, but, you know, fat's flavor. So that's a big hit around the house, but those are just some of my favorite sides. But again, if I'm going to a barbecue, I'm not going to eat the sides. I'm going to eat the barbecue, the main meats, because that's what it's all about for me.